The ninth Faversham Fringe will soon be over, but not before more than 25 acts have appeared in the three venues over the weekend of the 24th, 25th, and 26th of October, and I am endeavouring to catch up with some of the final weekend's talented performers. Today, I'm talking to Abigail Paul about her show Miscommunication, which she will perform at the Alexander Centre on Sunday, the 26th at 7 p.m. Hi, Abigail.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, and welcome back to the UK.
Yes.
So, Abigail, what inspired you to create Miscommunication?
Well, I'm a stand-up comedian. I have a background in improvisation. I live in Germany, but as you can tell from my accent, I am American. And I travel a lot as a comedian, and my husband is British and Irish, so I'm in the UK often. So I've just got a lot of wonderful jokes and things about being a little bit as an outsider in a lot of cultures. And I would say that's the basis of a lot of it.
Okay, so apart from the obvious, the words in the title, and avoiding spoilers, what is the show all about?
Well, I guess it's a little bit about how I've always lived a little bit on the outside of the curve. I'm a little bit rebellious. I'm not a huge fan of social norms. I like to push back on expectations, especially about women. And comedy is a great place for me to do that. So yeah, that's it's. Some of the themes are the ones you would always count on having. You know, talking about my life, marriage, children, or lack thereof in my case, and all of the things about my slightly dysfunctional childhood growing up in a swamp in Florida.
Okay. Were your best friends crocodiles?
No, we weren't friends, but I did get to meet them. That was a regular feature.
Cool. So, are you obviously you're expecting, hoping your audience will laugh, but will they? Are they going? You going to tell them stories that will make them reflect, or feel sad, or shocked, even?
Well, I think a big part of who I am is that I had a very, I say that I was raised wrong in Florida. I didn't have a traditionally warm, wonderful family, as so many people do and deserve. I had a somewhat dysfunctional family who kind of left me to it. But I kind of talk about celebrating how that has changed me, made me more resilient, how as an adult, I'm having a fantastic adulthood. And it taught me that I didn't necessarily have to play by the rules, you know, and sometimes especially I find in British culture, politeness and good society and the rules of society are extremely hilarious. So I really love making fun of that. I also live in Germany. Germans have a lot of ridiculous rules about how they like to govern their society. So I feel like being able to be in that position where you're like, hey, have you ever thought about this? Could be a little bit part of what makes the fun of the show.
Stand up, exhilarating, nerve-wracking, scary if you're me. Do you have any unforgettable moments you'd like to share?
Unforgettable moments, gosh, you know, it's a long journey with stand-up comedy. It's really, really hard. I started doing it over about 7 years ago. I transitioned from theater to improv to stand-up, and all those things, because I'm a performer and I've been performing since I was 10 years old. There was no part of it that was scary for like standing on stage with people watching me. But when you are stand-up comedy performing, it's all you. You know, you're very vulnerable. You're the show, and you're telling people these stories, and you're like, hey, I have this hilarious childhood, great jokes about child abuse. Anyone? And when people don't get into it with you or don't want to laugh about it, then it can feel really tough. So I've just been on such an up and down, but I guess what I could say is I always adjust the show a tiny bit for where I am. You know, I've done it all over Europe. I've done it quite a lot in the UK. When I did it in Brighton for the first time, I got a chance to practice some of my British jokes, some of my jokes about that particular aspect of my life. And those jokes had done well in Germany too, but they absolutely killed in Brighton. And it was just so fun because I could see the audience go, oh, that is what we do. And for me, that is a big part of what I love as a comedian is being like, you know, you do that, right? So that I would say is the Germans as well. They love it. They clap for themselves when they're like, we're ridiculous. So, you know, I love that. I love making people see themselves.
And do you do your stand up in Germany in German?
I can. I have about 15 minutes of material in German that I also do. And I'm thinking about translating this whole show into German, which would be a huge challenge for me because I'm a non-native speaker and German is ridiculous. It's very hard. An Uber driver once said to me, "You speak German? Congratulations." And I said, "Correct." That is correct. It is very hard. So it's not the easiest language to do comedy in because, they're not traditionally known as being hilarious. But I say that's just great for me because then there's a supply and demand problem. Yeah, and I'm an American at the end of the day. We like a capitalism. So I fulfill the funny for the Germans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do it in German, yes.
Right, because the Southern Germans have a good sense of humor.
Absolutely. They are so much friendlier and kinder than people give them credit for. And I also feel like I like to spread that message too, because there's no culture that is beyond reproach, and there's no culture that is actually superior or inferior to the other. They're just peculiar in their own way and wonderful in their own way. So I kind of I do dig at different cultures, but I also celebrate. I'm not like a takedown comedian. I don't like insult comedy. That kind of stuff doesn't really appeal to me. I really like to, put a wink on it, but celebrate these cultures.
And what's the one thing you hope your Faversham audience will take away from your show?
Oh, I mean, I just hope that, I just did the show last week in Germany and people said I haven't laughed that hard in a while. And that was such a wonderful feeling because I feel like it's a full hour solid of just laughing the whole time. So I hope that they come and they feel like that was just a great, full, fun hour of laughter. And I thought about some stuff and I didn't know some stuff. So I do always like to say you're laughing and learning. And so, yeah, that's what I hope.
Okay, great. Well, Abigail, I hope that anybody who comes to see your show is because they like to laugh and learn. And I think
Indeed.
that's a beauty of stand-up, to be honest. So go and see Abigail in her show, Miscommunication, which is at the Alexander Centre on Sunday the 26th at 7 p.m. Tickets are online at favershamfringe.co.uk/what's-on. Laugh, learn, and enjoy as hard as you can at Abigail's show. Thanks, Abigail, for talking to Radio Faversham and the people of Faversham today, and good luck with the show.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for having me. I've really enjoyed it.